Every family has a system, a silent, invisible system, that assigns each child a role, not because anyone planned it, not because anyone was cruel, but because systems need balance, and children are small enough to carry the weight. Were you the one who could do no wrong? Or the one who could do nothing right? Or the one that no one seemed to notice at all? Today, we name the roles and what they cost you. In family systems theory, and in the lived experience of millions of people, three roles emerge again and again in homes under stress. In homes where one or both parents struggle with addiction, mental illness, narcissism, emotional immaturity, or chronic dysfunction. The roles are not assigned consciously, they emerge, they solidify, and they follow the child long after the child has grown, shaping how they see themselves, how they relate to others, and how much they believe they are allowed to take up space in the world. The first role, the golden child. The golden child is the family's pride, the proof that everything is fine. The child who performs, academically, socially, emotionally, in ways that reflect well on the family system. On the surface, this sounds fortunate, but the golden child pays a price that is rarely acknowledged. They learn that love is conditional on performance, that their worth is located entirely outside themselves, in achievement, in behavior, in being what the family needs them to be. They often struggle profoundly with perfectionism that never rests, a terror of failure that is disproportionate to the stakes, deep uncertainty about who they are when no one is watching, and an inability to receive care without immediately trying to earn it. The golden child grew up loved for what they did, rarely for who they were. The second role, the scapegoat. The scapegoat is the family's identified problem. The one who acts out, speaks up, or simply refuses, consciously or not, to pretend that everything is fine. In dysfunctional family systems, someone must carry the family's pain. The scapegoat volunteers, not by choice, but by nature. They are often the most emotionally sensitive member of the family, the one who feels everything most acutely, and in feeling it, and expressing it, they become the target. They are labeled difficult, dramatic, too much, the problem. What the family rarely acknowledges is that the scapegoat is often the healthiest member of the system because they are the one telling the truth. But the cost is profound. The scapegoat often internalizes the label, believes they are broken, carries shame that was never theirs, and spends decades either living into the role or fighting furiously against it in ways that still keep them defined by it. The third role, the lost child. The lost child is the invisible one, the one who learned early that the safest strategy was disappearance. While the golden child performed and the scapegoat erupted, the lost child quietly withdrew into books, into fantasy, into their own interior world. They asked for nothing. They caused no trouble. They made themselves so small that sometimes, heartbreakingly, they were simply not seen. The lost child often looks, from the outside, like the easy one, the low-maintenance one. But inside, they are learning something devastating, that their needs don't matter, that wanting things is dangerous, that presence itself is a kind of imposition. As adults, lost children often struggle with profound loneliness even in relationships, difficulty identifying and expressing needs, a sense of being fundamentally separate from other people, and a deep, quiet grief for a childhood that passed largely unwitnessed. Now, here is what is important to understand about these roles. They are not fixed personality types. They are responses to a specific environment. A child who is the scapegoat in one family might have been the golden child in another. The role is not who the child is. The role is what the child became in order to survive. And the roles interact. The golden child's perfection requires the scapegoat's failure to make sense by comparison. The lost child's invisibility reduces the pressure on both. Each role serves the system. Each role costs the child something irreplaceable. One more important thing. Roles can shift. A child might begin as the golden child and, after a younger sibling arrives, slowly become the lost child. A scapegoat might find brief windows of being the golden child when they perform in the way the family needs. The fluidity doesn't make the roles less real. It makes them more complicated to identify. And many people, hearing these descriptions for the first time, feel something they rarely feel when it comes to their childhood: recognition, not of something catastrophic, but of a pattern, of something that was always there, but never had a name. What does it mean to heal from a role you never chose? It begins with separation, the recognition that the role and the self are not the same thing. For the golden child, healing often looks like permission to fail without self-destruction, permission to not know, permission to exist in the ordinary, unremarkable, unperforming, and still worthy. For the scapegoat, healing often looks like reclaiming the sensitivity that was weaponized against them, understanding that the truth-telling that made them a target was also their greatest gift, learning that being difficult in a sick system might have been the most healthy thing they could do. For the lost child, healing often looks like the terrifying, necessary practice of being seen, of asking for things, of discovering that presence is not an imposition, but an offering. For all three, the work is fundamentally the same. It is the work of returning to the self that existed before the role was assigned. The child who is curious before they learn to perform. The child who is sensitive before they learn to explode. The child who is present before they learn to disappear. That child is not gone. They are waiting. Whichever role you played, or perhaps you moved between roles at different times, I want you to hear this. The role was not the truth about you. It was a strategy, a survival adaptation, a way of navigating a system that needed something from you that a child should never have had to provide. You are not the golden child's performance. You are not the scapegoat's brokenness. You are not the lost child's invisibility. You are the person who survived the role. And now, if you choose, you get to find out who you are without it. That is not a small thing. That might be the most important discovery of your life. Subscribe to Soul Decoded, and this is important. In the comments below, which role were you? Golden child, scapegoat, or lost child? Your answer creates a conversation, and that conversation can be part of someone else's healing.